Guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. Today we're over on our YouTube account, and through the years that we have been playing AFK Arena, we have gotten an incredible amount of heroes. We've seen tier list, we've seen signature item tier list, furniture tier list. We have seen pretty much every single tier list that you can imagine. Now, one thing to remember, guys, is with a lot of these heroes, even looking at the Awakened version of Brutus, one thing that I really focused on, and it is amazing that I found this, and this is over on Reddit. I'm going to put a link to it down below. But one thing that I've talked about a lot is the utility of the heroes within AFK Arena. Not necessarily the builds, but more of where we are seeing these heroes utilized. Now, there is a guide that was put together. I believe it was Sergio Camposit. I think that's how you say it, but he put together a guide based on utility across all game modes. So it is very cool to see it, guys. I'm going to break it down. I'm going to give you my thoughts on it. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. All right, guys, so here it is. And for this, I'm actually going to start at the bottom because, again, this is really based on utility. This is based on where you're using a lot of heroes. And I love that he kind of scored it. And I know he does have some spreadsheets over there. Did an incredible amount of work to really put this together. But we're going to start with the bottom three tiers. So the D+, the D, and the F tier, guys. When you look at these heroes, they have very low to almost no utility. Even looking at the F tier, Chimera, Cirrus, we have Oscar, we have K-Sauce, we have Rigby, we have Walker, and we have Almas. Overall, guys, definitely agree with the F tier. There is nobody in there that you use. Even within the tower, I don't even see maybe a one-off scenario. Chimera a little bit higher just for the simple fact that early carry, she is still decent. As you start getting further into AFK Arena, she has no place. And even early carry, guys, Damon is a much, much better hero to go ahead and pull and continue through there. Now, looking at the D tier, Respin used to be used, Baden used to be used, Nakaruru, Yukio, both in there, not really used for anything. Same with Falks and same with Solus. Belinda is occasionally, very occasionally, used as a buffer for her blessing ability. But overall, guys, D tier completely out as well. Now, looking at the D+, this is where you start getting into really the tower heroes. So when you look at Gwen, when you look at Maro, when you look at Lucius, even looking at Wukong, looking at probably Verk, Nara, most of these heroes within that D+ tier are kind of almost locked to their specific towers. We don't really see them used really anywhere outside of there. They're not in Campaign, Twisted Realm, Cursed Realm. They're not really in a lot of the Temporal Rift comps. Overall, I agree with it. Granite, I can see a little bit more utility. But again, a lot of players that do not have Granite built for the stun effect with Lucretia, which is just Campaign only. Overall, if you don't have him built, not really a big thing because Campaign, of course, you can just continue over and over with the retries. Now, getting into the C tier, this again is very heavy when it comes to really tower specific heroes. A majority of these are either very tower specific within the C tier or they're very niche within the game. Even looking at Warwick, guys, the boss fights, he used to be the buffer, been since replaced. Ty Lee in the tower, Theowin in the Abyssal Expedition does work incredibly well. Also within the tower, Kelthar, of course, with Thorn Cheese, Portal Party, or with the Thorn Cheese with Pippa. Zekus, don't really see him used much of anywhere. Torn, used in a formation, and again, these are kind of the one-offs. Formations with Moriel. Mizoth, still don't really use him for anything. Peggy, again, a lot of these are really short of the tower or one-off niche formations. We're not really going to find anyone within that C tier that we usually, use on a regular basis. Now, when you get to the C+ tier, these are more of the heroes that I find, again, a little bit more utility within this tier. And this is the reason why I love this list so much, guys. When I was looking at this a little bit earlier today, I was like, absolutely, we have to cover this because there are a lot of cool heroes in here. So again, looking through the C+ tier, again, they're kind of niche heroes. Some of these heroes we do see within the Cursed Realm on occasion. They also do have, and sometimes, again, have a spot within PvP formations, and that is why I feel like the utility is a little bit higher. Even when you look at the overall utility, like a hero like Oku, Definitely in the Wilder Tower, he is used when you get to 2 teams. When you start getting to 3 teams, outside of their guys, not really used anywhere. Thorn, of course, for the cheese, which is in the campaign, short of really that campaign usage. Could see him again within the King's Tower, but probably not. Flora, Celestial Tower, Stall Team PvP. Then we have Brutus, of course, the immunity that he possesses. Crowd control with the Prince of Persia, but the Prince of Persia has really been replaced with some different combinations, including Leonardo, so he unfortunately has kind of fallen back. Cecilia, kind of a sub again, if you don't have Athalia built, can definitely fit in some of those. Alero, the tower, I don't see him really used anywhere else. Baba Yaga, we see sometimes within the Cursed Realm, depending on the rotation, depending on the comp. Bane, of course, the tower. Gorvo, the tower. A lot of these heroes might appear again as a one-off, kind of as a sub-formation, not best in slot when it comes to the Cursed Realm. Now we start getting into the B tier. Now the B tier is a lot of heroes that we see more on a regular basis, a lot more utility. You can see their numbers here that he's kind of utilizing. And again, it's really cool how this is kind of set up. So when you look at Hendrik, yes, can work in some PvP formations, Lightbearer Tower, absolutely. Valoris in here. So Valoris was in some Cursed Realm comps. It seems since we've had the introduction of the Awakened version of Baden, she's not really used too much. We've even seen Audrey cover some of the formations where she was being utilized. Nemisu, Tower, of course, without a doubt. Also within formations, seen him run with Ainz, a couple other heroes, just because of the haste buff he provides. If they buffed his totems, it would be a whole different game. But overall, guys, the tower, absolutely, because you lack support within that Mauler Tower. Now, Druz, of course, was number 1 when it came to the Grand Hunt. Even looking at hunting fields, things of that nature, their specific factions work incredibly well within there. Thane, of course, this is a driving force, the original version of Thane. When you get to 3 towers within the Lightbearers, he is really your third team, or 3 teams in the Lightbearer Tower. He is literally your third team within there. Ezio, the Ezio-Ainz combination, very strong as a finisher. As of right now, we see a lot of utility with Ezio and Brutus, the Awakened version of Brutus, actually running together. So Brutus can crowd control. He can get them low, Ezio being the finisher within that formation. Now Tassie, again, Tassie within some formations. Don't really see her any much more outside of the Wilder Tower. Used to be really as a sub for Mahira, but as of right now, doesn't really work as a sub of Mahira, even with the abilities that she has. Zephyr, of course, heavy PvP, Celestial Tower. Also do see him in some Cursed Realm comps. Same with Yennefer. So Yennefer is starting to make a little bit of ground. We actually see her best in slot with the Awakened version of Baden within the current, or the last Cursed Realm, I believe it was the last Cursed Realm that she was actually in. Now the Awakened version of Aziz, I don't know why he's in here. Overall, guys, you just need 1 single copy at Legendary for a little bit of crowd control, but overall it seems like he has kind of dropped out of everything. Now Khazard, I would think his utility would be a little bit higher. Just for the simple fact we're seeing him with Leonardo, we're seeing him with Raku comps, we're seeing him with a bunch of crowd control comps, we're even seeing him with a brand new hero, which again locks down with the duration. Definitely Khazard is still super viable. Mahira, of course, the campaign, that is really the only place, and of course the Hypogean Tower, it is the second team. So Lucretia runs 1 team. Mahira, Khazard is the combination kind of for the second team when you're going through the towers. Treznar, heavy PvP, Ranger, a lot of different aspects, utility with him high. Same with Isolde. And then Arthur, I think Arthur's possibly here, possibly a little bit lower. Again, it seems like his utility has really dropped off since we introduced more heroes. I don't know anywhere currently that he's used Cursed Realm, Twisted Realm, even PvP formations. He's not used. Campaign formations, he's not used. So again, the utility, they're pretty good, but overall could be a little bit lower. Now, when we start getting into the B+, these are the heroes you see, guys, and these are the heroes you see on a regular basis in a lot of different formations. Desira, absolutely Greyborn Tower teams. We see her within the Cursed Realm. We see her in some PvP aspects. Same with Saurus. Saurus is still very strong as a boss killer. Guild bosses, absolutely. A couple different formations, absolutely. Still utilized. Same with Audrey. A lot of damage right there. Also some pretty good overall damage within the Celestial Tower. When you look, you're pretty limited short of damage in the Celestial Tower, which is why she is here. Queen, of course, the crowd control, the lockdown ability. We have the super cycle in there with Leica. Then, of course, Zolrath with the original version of Taylene. Very, very strong. Even running Athalia within PvP aspects. Zolrath, pretty unique with what he does. Then Sonya, of course, the defensive buffer, guys, works incredibly well as a tank. Same with Taylene. Graveborn Tower, absolute priority. Also seen her in some Cursed Realm comps. Crowd control from Pharrell, guys. One of the original OG AFK Arena heroes. Still doing well. Karnos, again, making his big presence in PvP, guys. That is really the primary place he is being utilized. And also the Celestial Tower. Looking in here, we have Antandra. We also do have Seekus, so the new support hero, which again, lacking support within the Mauler Tower. Moriel is still used in a couple Cursed Realm comps. Now, Geralt is in here. Not 100% sure why. We see him probably in a PvP spec, and really that's it. Same with Orin. Orin has some utility within being fully built. Now, they require a very high investment, but overall, guys, being built does work very well within the tower. Again, Geralt, not exactly sure where he's built. I even have him built, and I don't use him for anything as of right now, even that PvP aspect. So now we start getting into the A class, guys. These are the primary heroes. When you look at Alna, Raku, Kren in the formation, when you look at Leonardo, when you look at Ainz, when you look at Peanut, when you look at Frampton, most of these heroes fall in meta formations. Most of these heroes fall into primary formations. Even Cursed Realm, Alna's in there, Kren's in there, Raku's in there, Hodgkin's in there, Leonardo's in there, Lorzen's in there, the Awakened or the original version of Taylene is in there. Most of the heroes A and above, guys, are going to be the primary meta heroes that you do want to build. Even Iran with the 5-pull, Peanut with the damage mitigation, Skarath with the 5-pull. Skarath is in, again, a couple different formations. Even Astrilda, guys. Astrilda is a hero that I feel a lot of players really do underestimate. She does very well with the buffs. She brings a lot to the group formations, which is the reason why utility for her is very high. Same with Athalia. Athalia with the lockout ability does an incredible amount of damage being built, which is, again, one of the reasons really building there. Now we get into our top tier, guys. So A+, we have the Awakened version of Taylene. And again, looking at the meta formation in its entirety, as we know it today, campaign, different places. Oden, Twins, Albedo. We have Palmer in there. We have Rosline in there. Damon in there. Aziz, Kanisa, and Rook. We have Rain for the damage buff. We have Merlin for the mitigation. The lockout with the ultimate abilities of Aziz right here. Zolrath for the time delay coming in. Palmer for the buffs. All of these heroes, guys, are big priorities within the AFK Arena, and it's only the A+. Again, we see him in Cursed Realm, we see him in Twisted Realm, we see him in the Abyssal Expedition, we see him in PvP, we see him in metacomps within the formation in the campaign. We also do see them within the Temple Rift. A lot of places that these tiered heroes are utilized. Then we get to the S tier. And again, utility-wise, absolutely, guys, when you look at Halos, when you look at Lucretia, one of the biggest heroes to build, we have the buffs of Mortis, we have the damage of Scarlet, we also do have the Awakened version of Thane, Rowan, Anasta, and Nevi. All of them, again, these are the heroes that when you start AFK Arena and you continue progression, pretty much the S+, A+, and I'd probably even say the A tier, these are going to be pretty much the 4 primary faction heroes that you're going to pop in the wish list, that you're going to start building early game. Even looking at like Grez and Scarlet, guys, 2 of the most powerful heroes in the AFK Arena because of their boss killing abilities and how they are kind of built. Utility on them, super high. Now we get to the final class, guys, the S+. As you can see, the Awakened version of Brutus is coming in at 205, with the Awakened version of Solus at 202. This has been one of the reasons why I have talked about from kind of the beginning, the utility that the heroes possess. The Awakened version of Brutus has been used in so many game modes, guys. It's absolutely incredible where his utility really goes to, again, with a lot of different formations. Power absolutely crushes it. Cursed Realm, Twisted Realm, the same. Hunting Fields, the same. Abyssal Expedition, the same. So much utility built out of this hero. Absolutely love it, which is honestly the same for the Awakened version of Solus. There really isn't many game modes that either one of these are used. And some of them sometimes are even used in conjunction together. Again, depending on the formation, works incredibly well. Two of the biggest heroes. And of course, guys, in here we have Mishka. Mishka, Wyler's absolute priority, guys. A lot of crowd control, a lot of healing, a lot of shielding. Probably one of the best sole primary tanks that we have within AFK Arena, which is interesting because even though there's not an immunity there, does have some damage mitigation and the crowd control, which puts her utility very high. Now looking here, guys, Silas, of course, 202 falling in here, has a lot of buffs, a lot of healing, but he also possesses the immunity. Now, like we've said before, guys, the immunity in AFK Arena is the absolute biggest thing that we have in AFK Arena, is the immunity to damage. It is really the game changer when it comes to every team comp, honestly, that we have. The ability to mitigate damage or become immune to damage is really what keeps you alive as you start getting into higher level deficiencies, which makes a big difference when you're getting, again, into the very high level deficiencies. Brez, of course, pretty much run in every game mode. Have to have him built out. The Awakened version of Baden, a little bit higher than I would think. But again, looking at the Awakened version of the heroes overall, I would probably say that's about right. We're starting to see him in more Cursed Realm comps. Brutus, Solus, absolutely two of the big ones to build out of here. Then even looking at the Awakened version of Taylene for the Awakened heroes, not really used very much anymore. It seems like there's been a couple formations she was strong in. It seems like she has kind of fallen out quite a bit out of those formations. And then, of course, guys, we have Joan of Arc. Now, Joan of Arc, guys, again, when you look at what she brings to the team with being built, it is phenomenal. From the crowd control to the attack rating to the defense to the heals. Again, looking at the big picture of these heroes, guys, there are some points, there are some break points where you do have to have these heroes built to be really effective. But overall, you can see kind of what they were going with here with the all game modes. So taking a look at AFK Arena from 10,000 foot view, looking at all of the heroes, kind of numbering them out. And again, when you look at the S plus through probably the A tier, they are the biggest priorities to build within AFK Arena. So, all right, guys, so that'll do it for today's video. Definitely wanted to cover this, guys. Again, link to the guide is going to be down below. The more exposure that we can get for these, because this takes an absolute phenomenal guide, takes a lot of time, even to put all the pictures, the numbers, the stats, the spreadsheets, everything, guys. The content creation when it comes to visuals, when it comes to things of this nature, are incredibly time consuming. And again, a big shout out to Sergio for putting this together. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. And as always, thank you guys for watching.